Hello, I'm Charles Heimlich, and this is Real Talk. Hello, welcome back to Real Talk. I'm your host, Charles Heimlich, where we keep it real. Today, I just went to a restaurant, and there's a new restaurant in Philadelphia. It's called Karma, where they don't have no menu, so you just get what you deserve. Anyway, we have a great guest here today. Now, they say that if you don't know how to act and if you don't know how to play an instrument, then you become a comedian. Well, this guy's got it all. He's an actor, comedian, he's a musician, and all the way from New York, okay, it's Joseph David Sirico. Joe, how are you, man? How you doing?
Good to see you. How's everything?
Good to see you, sir.
So, Joe, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you come from.
Well, I came from the womb originally, and then after that, we moved to the Bronx, and I was there until I was about 4 years old. Then we moved to Long Island, and I've been there ever since in Franklin Square.
Franklin Square.
Yeah, they call it Fangula Square.
Yeah,
it's a very Italian neighborhood.
Okay.
So obviously there's a lot of good restaurants. Yeah, and that's it. I mean, I lived in Long Island pretty much my whole life.
Okay. How was it growing up?
Growing up was great. A lot of kids. We used to play kickball and stickball, football, basketball, you know.
Some kids went out and played.
Everybody went out and played. We used to play flashlight tag, and everybody, nobody locked the doors. You just walk into your friend's house.
Sure, yeah.
That's the way it worked back then.
Got up early in the morning, went out and played all day.
Yeah, exactly. And we had a great community pool too, so we used to spend a lot of time at the pool.
Okay.
And I mean, everybody in the town went, and they had basketball courts, handball courts. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I was at the pool from 8 in the morning until it closed at like 6 at night when I was a kid, with all my friends. It was a good time. What happened? It went so fast. I don't know what happened, but it seems like about 100 years ago.
Time does fly.
Well, boy, when you're having fun.
So you're currently you're still in New York, right?
Yeah, I'm actually in West Hempstead, which is literally like across the street from Franklin Square. It's very strange how it's set up, but so I live in West Hempstead. I have one kid that I know of, and and that's basically it. I mean, it's been a pretty good lifetime so far. I really can't complain. Been very fortunate.
That's great. Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about when you got a little older. What were your dreams?
Well, it's funny because I ended up getting into the music business. I had an older brother who was 20 years older than me, and I have a brother who's 15 years older than me. I was a gallbladder. My mother had me when she was 40, which back then just didn't happen. So I was basically a gallbladder. At least that's what they thought, and then I came along. But so my oldest brother was in the music business, so I kind of got the bug from when I was a little kid. Always around records and 45s and tapes and stuff. So I got the bug then, and I went into the music business when I was 16. I think it was my first job. I worked in a record store, and then I went from there, slowly made my way up the ladder, and I worked with Def Jam, I worked with Island, I worked with Profile Records for a while, and then I ended up at CBS, which is now Sony Music. But I'm not there anymore. The music business, after a while, it just tanked, but it was a blast. I mean, I met every musical hero I ever wanted to meet. I got very lucky. I really did. Nice. I got to go to a ton of concerts too, so for free. That's the best part. And I got lots of free CDs and lots of free albums. So it worked out okay.
Yeah, I heard you're actually a collector.
I am. I'm a big collector. My house is more or less like a music museum. So I tell people stories all the time. I'm like, I met Paul McCartney and I met Mick Jagger and they're like, yeah. And then they come to my house and they're like, oh my God, you really did. Because I have autographed stuff all over my house. But I'm a big vinyl collector because they started pressing vinyl again here in the States, and it's all remastered, and the sound quality is just off the charts. Blows away downloading music any day of the week. It really does. But yeah. So that's what I do. And I like to read. Love Elvis.
From Elvis.
No, he's still dead. Last time I checked, I'm pretty sure he is.
Well, I just saw him last week.
Hey, I was a big Elvis fan. I listen to everything from classical to, Public Enemy. I mean, I have a very broad range of musical tastes because I spent so many years in the business.
Right.
So, and why not? You know, you'd be surprised at what you learn.
And you are a drummer, right?
I'm a drummer. Yes, I'm not like Neil Peart, but
tell me a little bit about the drumming. How you got interested in that?
Well, my cousin was 5 years older than me, and he was a drummer, and I used to spend a lot of time at his house in the Bronx over the summertime. So he would go out on his paper route, and there was a drum set there. So I just started to teach myself to play drums. And then my brother bought me my first drum set. So I played, I was in a band, and I switched to guitar, and I'm left-handed though. So that's, that's the curse. Although I do play drums right-handed. And, and that was it. I mean, that's, I played in a band for a while here and there, but now it's mostly for, relaxation, more or less.
What kind of drum set you have?
I have a Ludwig set, and I have a set from Sweden called Stag, which someone was actually throwing out on the side of the road.
Wow.
Yeah, I was going to see a friend of mine. I'm sitting at the stop sign. I looked to the left, and there's an entire drum set sitting out there.
Oh, my God.
I was like, you got to be kidding.
Wow.
So I brought it home, and I just kind of combined the two. And, I have about 7 different guitars. So, I like to play.
Which is your favorite?
Well, believe it or not, I actually have an Epiphone Les Paul Jr., which is a very thin body, which is terrific. But I have this other guitar I just bought a while ago called Rise by Sawtooth. Really cheap, but the thing sounds amazing. I mean, it cost me like $100. It was one of the nicest sounding guitars I've ever had.
Really? Better than the Les Paul?
Well, they're different sounds, but for the price, I was amazed. I like the way it looked. That's why I grabbed it.
Okay.
So
nice.
Yeah.
All right. How about singing? Did you sing?
Only in the shower. Yeah, usually in the shower or, in bed, depending on what's going on. But yeah, I mean, I can sing. I can carry a tune if I have to.
Okay.
But.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's good. So then after you got through the music and you started acting, right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I left the music business. I got into stand-up comedy for a while. I was doing that. And then my wife had a son, and I decided to put everything on hold. Okay. So, my kid, I didn't want to bail out on him.
Sure, life happens.
Yeah, excuse me. I never knew my dad, and my stepfather died when I was 12. So the last thing I wanted to do was like start going on the road and not knowing my son. Okay. I wasn't cool with it. So I put the whole career on hold for like 15 years.
Wow.
And then I started doing a little stand-up again. He came to see me, and he was like, Dad, what are you doing? You should really be doing this. And I was still working some
ironic is that?
I was still working some corporate gigs, and then I finally was like, screw this, man. Yeah. I'm just going to try out, just audition for something. And I auditioned for this thing called Justice Soldier of God. And it was about this white rapper who was touched by the hand of God, a girl. Okay. And she can see crimes before they happen. So I actually play a murderer in it, and we filmed in Sparta, New Jersey. Okay. Beautiful town. Absolutely fantastic. So that was like the first thing I did, and I got the role, and it was a blast. I had such a great time, And then I did this thing called Outwitting the Devil, which was based on a book by Napoleon Hill, where I play a detective, and then the pandemic hit, and that put everything on hold. And right before that, I played a priest in a horror movie. So it was called Maria's Tale, Suffer for Your Craft.
Oh, okay.
And I'll tell you a funny story about that. So I'm dressed as a priest. I go into Brooklyn to go to the set. Go into a bodega to get a cup of tea.
You look like a priest.
I do look like a priest. Okay. Yeah, I went to St. Molestus.
Makes sense.
No, so I go in to get a cup of tea. There's like 3 guys in there, and they're like, "Good morning, Father." So I'm laughing. I'm like, "Yeah, okay, how you doing? Great." They're like, "No, the tea and the bagels on us." I'm like, "No." They're like, "Oh, give us a blessing." I'm like, "Okay, bless you, blah, blah, blah." And I leave, and then I go do this horror movie, and I'm telling the guys, no, everybody's on the floor laughing. It was one of those good moments, So, yeah, it was great, and I've done a lot of work. A lot of work on Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, like background work, featured background. Okay. I was in the Many Saints of Newark for a split second. But you do see me. Okay. Yeah, I've done a bunch of things, a bunch of commercials. I did like the very first Plexaderm commercial. And that was a weird thing because people were calling me saying, "Oh my God, we just saw you on TV." And it's a very weird feeling. It doesn't really matter to me. It's very humbling in a lot of ways. It really is. Yeah. And it's the way you should stay anyway. Absolutely. So I won't sign any autographs at the end of this, just so you know. Okay. No, but well, I will for 20 bucks. But yeah, right. Yeah. So, but it was, I've been really lucky. I've been working a lot. Ever since things opened up again, I've been working every week. Good. I've worked on the show Power, Raising Canaan. I've done a lot of work. So I'm really lucky. I just did my first national commercial for Samsung, with The Rock, promoting Red Notice.
Really?
Yeah, so he wasn't in the commercial, but it was promoting that the show, the movie, whatever it is. And that was a blast. We did that in Manhattan. I've played a priest like 3 times, like 2 other things too, which is very bizarre. I don't know how that works out, but it does. And that's it. And then of course, you and I met on the set of the Ruggieros.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about that one.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that yet.
We're not going to talk about that one yet because it's special.
It's very special.
It is special. It's very close to my heart.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah, it was. It was great. It was a blast. But yeah, so that's it. That's basically what's going on. So now I'm just lucky to work every day.
Okay.
I really am very, very thankful. It's been.
Mrs. Maisel, how did you get involved in that?
They literally contacted me. I was with Grant Wilfley and casting agency, and they called me and asked me if I wanted to work on the show. I was like, yeah. Okay. So I actually got to play in a strip club for like 6 episodes. I had to suffer through it. It was awful. Yeah. But so, and it was funny because they were like, after they cast you once, you're not going to be back on the show. A week later, they called me back. They're like, you want to be back on? And I was like, yeah, sure. Nice. So I ended up doing like all of the season that's coming out. Tomorrow? So it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, nice. And then and then they called me up again. I'm working in this new season too. So
sounds good. Okay, hold that thought.
I'm holding the thought.
We'll be right back after these messages. Hello, welcome back. So, Joe, tell us a little bit more about the film experience there.
Yeah, I just actually did a film called Hummingbird.
Hummingbird.
Yeah, it's about a girl who meets this other girl. She has this terrible dead-end job in a laundromat, and I'm her boss. And my job is I just abuse her thoroughly, the poor kid. But she was a really terrific actress, and we filmed in this laundromat that was like the size of a bathroom. It was the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen. And it was freezing that day. It was one of the coldest days in Manhattan. And we had our hands up against the dryer to stay warm. It was something, I love doing it, but I wouldn't want to be in that weather ever again. It was horrible. But the crew was really nice, and they really kind of let me improv a lot, which is what I like to do. And it's my specialty, yes. And they really enjoyed it. So, and I did too. It was a wonderful day. Awesome. It really worked out well. I like doing films like that, where you just don't stick to the script. Right. You know what I mean? Because, I think you have to bring something to it always.
Absolutely. Yeah. And some directors allow you to do that. Some don't, but I love the ones that do.
I've been very lucky so far.
Yeah.
Should I bring the audience something?
Me too.
Want some water or something? Yeah. So it was a great experience, and I just find that I'm kind of at my best when I'm just kind of winging it a little bit. I like to live on the edge like that a little, because you never know what's going to come out,
Absolutely. So what's your favorite, what would be your favorite film? What are you?
Horror movies. Horror movies. I'm a big horror movie buff.
What's your favorite horror movie?
I would have to say The Exorcist. Although I do love any Christopher Lee Dracula.
Okay.
That's, to me, is, why? Because it used to scare the crap out of me when I was a kid.
Yeah, right.
I got a good Christopher Lee story. So when I was 9 years old, my brother takes me to the drive-in with my sister-in-law at the time, and it's to see Dracula AD 1972. Now, that movie with Christopher Lee happens to be extremely gory. I'm scared to death, basically, because I'm 9. And seeing something like this was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm seeing this. And then my brother took me to see Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the movies when I was like 11.
Yeah,
so
right? Yeah.
That's why I'm like this. So just in case you guys were wondering, this is the reason. And I'm a big horror movie buff. I mean, and I like all of the Abbott and Costello ones, Meets the Wolfman. I love the original Wolfman, the original Dracula, any Bela Lugosi stuff. I just really dug as a kid, Right. It was on all the time.
All the old ones, yeah.
It was always on the weekends.
Classic. They're classic.
Yeah, so it was a lot. That's really what I grew up watching.
The Exorcist actually was one of the first horror movies to win an Oscar.
Yes, yes. And
they got 10 nominations.
They got 10 nominations. Yes. They did. And I mean, still to this day, that movie really just... creeps me out. It really, and I've seen it probably 20 times, you know.
Poor Linda Blair.
Yeah, well.
I think she suffered a lot after that.
Yeah, well, a lot of crazy things happen on that set.
did.
Like people died, and I mean, all kinds
Accidents.
of all kinds of accidents and stuff like that. So it was, after that, the second one, the third. Actually, the third one wasn't too bad, and then there was The Exorcist 4, like the beginning or something.
Okay, yeah.
That was actually pretty good.
You like that one?
I did. The last one was good. I have to say, and so supposedly they're remaking it. I don't know how you remake that movie, but certain things you should leave alone. And Jaws.
So Jaws, Jaws, yeah.
Jaws, come on.
Of course, that's classic. Man.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't go back in the water. That was it for me. With
They
the
said they said that film was going to not make it at all. They said they were going to lose money with it. And look what they did. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
so you never know. You never know.
You don't know. You got to be in it to win it, as they say.
Yeah, exactly. So one of my favorite is the creature from the Black Lagoon. Remember that? Yeah, exactly. And did you know that the creature actually, where they got the costume idea, was from the Oscars? Yeah, the Oscar. Believe it or not,
the Oscar. I mean,
the actual Oscar was it molded from the Oscar.
I didn't realize they were related. I had no idea. Is that a distant cousin?
So they actually had two actors that played in the film. Wow. One was on land. The other one was a swimmer, professional swimmer. He did all the swimming scenes. Wow. And he went on to, actually 10 years later, he went on to direct Flipper. Wow. Believe it or not. So yeah. So
was he married to Flipper at the time, or he was just directing? But yes, so I love, movies are great. I mean, it's nice. It takes you away from the everyday stuff.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
Especially today.
Right. So absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about any other movie things you have coming up. What do you have coming up?
Nothing at the moment. No, I'm actually working on Maisel in 2 weeks for 2 days.
Okay. So is this your second time being there, right?
Yeah, it's like my 7th time appearing on the show, but my second season now.
Second season.
Yeah, which I'm really looking forward to, because I have to tell you, they do a wonderful job on the set. I mean, the attention to detail in the club is phenomenal. Right. And I have to suffer through women stripping all day. It's just a tough thing to do. I know. I feel sorry for you. And I respect women completely. I'm sorry, but Well,
I can take it off your hands.
I got to live through this.
If you need me, I'll take it off your hands. So.
And the cast is really nice. The crew's really nice. Right. So it's a great day. And they film it in the Brooklyn Navy Yard. Wow. So they redid that whole area. They film probably 20 different shows.
So it's a full studio? Is that the studio?
Yeah, they do City on the Hill there, The Last OG. Oh, okay. I mean, they do a ton of shows there. It's incredible, and it's really cool because it's like a Hollywood lot, more or less. You go in and there's old cars around and all kinds of stuff. So it's quite an experience. I have to say, it was still gives me the chills every time I go there. It's really, really cool. So so that's it. I mean, that's basically what's going on. Working on Maisel. I just auditioned for a ton of things. I'm very lucky.
You just auditioned last night, right?
Yeah, I auditioned for probably
four auditions in one night.
I do like four or five almost every other day now.
Wow.
Yeah, so
So what was? Give me an idea of one of them.
One of them I actually played this morally bankrupt record executive, which is I wasn't morally bankrupt, but I was a record executive. And so it was pretty easy to fit into the role. Okay. So, I submitted for that. And then I'm actually auditioning for Death. I'm going to play Death, but it's kind of like a comedic role. And I haven't done that yet. And then there's this other thing called Cal, where I play a neighbor. And, I got a lot of things going on.
Man,
which is always good. It's always good to work.
Nice to be busy.
Yes, thank you, universe. I thank the universe every day because, plus we got to meet.
Yeah.
So, we got very lucky. That's one story.
That's an interesting. We're going to go there in a couple minutes. Yes, we are. But for now, I just want to really talk again about some other opportunities. I think you have something else coming up, don't you? Another audition?
Yeah, I have so many. I can't even remember half of them. It's hard to say. Okay. I have a ton of them. I really do. There's so many in the scripts. You try to get them done. I actually auditioned for an old-time lawyer where basically they're charging you just to look at your phone, that kind of thing.
Okay.
It actually films in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin?
Yeah,
Wow.
which is bizarre, but okay, I'm into Green Bay, so it's not a problem.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's been, I've been busy. Actually, I'm trying to get back on stage now, to go back to stand-up.
Oh, you like
Because,
that?
yeah, I miss it.
Miss that?
I really do. Nothing like making people laugh. When you get that
Laughter's
first
the
laugh,
best medicine.
it's always the best medicine,
right.
you know what I mean? So I try to laugh as much as possible. But yeah, so I'm trying to do that. And
Now, do you write your own material for that?
it's all from my life.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah. So it's been one hell of a life so far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, so it's been pretty cool. But yeah,
Okay.
that's what's going on.
Sounds cool. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Now,
How you doing? You doing all right?
Me? Oh, hey, I'm always doing good. I'm staying busy. I got my show, which I love.
I love it. It's terrific.
And
you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
absolutely love having you here. So yeah, my director Prince, who you met, and he's a great guy. He runs this, and he's got a couple of film projects he's actually working on. And we just got done. We wrapped up one called Benita, and Benita will be coming out, and we'll talk about that down the road. So look for that. Look for Benita. It's going to be a good one. So yeah, and that's about it with me. I mean, I'm trying to stay busy like you. I want to be like you. I want to be. I don't get 4 auditions a day. I don't.
Hey, listen. Like I said, I've been very lucky. I'm extremely lucky, and I thank the universe every day because.
Nice.
It's a gift to be able to do this for a living. And it's not about the money, the money comes and goes. That's the reality of it.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Happiness, that's the key. You got to do what you love. Because if you do what you love, then it's really not work.
That's right. You never work.
You sit on the set for 14 hours, and if you really enjoy it, it goes very quickly.
Yeah, it does.
It really does. It's amazing.
I feel like that when I teach my classes. I have a karate school.
I know.
My school's in West Berlin, and when I'm teaching out there, my students you'd have to tell me, Sensei, I got to go. I'm like, no, I'm still talking.
Yeah, I want to come out there, take some lessons, learn how to kick some ass.
Yeah. That's a good thing to do.
No, more for like physical well-being.
Right,
I think it's important. Especially as you get older.
It's a great workout. And you learn how to protect yourself at the same time. So yeah, it's great. So I love having the school, and I'd love to have you. Definitely come down.
Absolutely. I'm there.
Yeah, we're getting there. So, okay, we'll be right back after these messages with Real Talk. Welcome back, and we're here talking to my buddy Joe. We just got done working together on a film project not too long ago, and we're going to start talking about that. But before I do want to mention that the Academy Awards is going to be March 27th at 8 p.m. on Sunday, and it is going to be on ABC. So make sure you tune in. Now, I just found out they didn't have a host, and so I was hoping to get picked for that, but now they got 3. That's right. They got 3 hosts now. Yeah. But last week when I was looking into it, they had none. So I was like,
called me. I was too busy.
Yeah. See, right. So, anyways, so did you know that Tweety Bird actually won an Oscar?
Get out of here! Really?
Yeah, Tweety Bird. Yeah. So if he could do it, why can't we do it? Right? Hey. Okay. So, anyways, we were working together on. Tell these guys the project that we met.
Where do I begin?
How did we meet?
Where do I begin? It was this film called The Ruggieros, and it's about an Italian family during the Ruggieros. Hey, Joey. It's about this Italian family who is completely inappropriate, and
to say the least.
To say the least.
Yeah.
And their son has to do a project for school, so he chooses his family. So he basically films everything that we do, and it turns out to be just this completely insane debacle, more or less. But it's funny as hell, I have to say. I'm most proud of that. It's the best thing I've ever done, without a doubt. Out of all the films I've done, got to meet you.
Well, that was the best part right there.
Uncle Mike.
Uncle Mike.
That's
yes,
Uncle
I'm
Mike.
Uncle Mike.
Uncle Mike.
And I am your brother-in-law.
Yes,
nice to
you're my
meet you.
brother-in-law. Hi, how are you?
All right.
From my first wife or my seventh?
Well, I don't know that, but anyway, but let's talk about your wife. Your wife is Roseanne.
Oh, yes,
and Roseanne
Sorrentino.
Roseanne Sorrentino, okay, she played in Annie as Pepper in the original Annie. So tell us.
And the film.
And the film.
She was in the movie version with Carol Burnett.
Right.
So it was funny because the director had called me up. I didn't audition for this thing. So he had called me up and he's like, listen, I was going through your reel. He says, I love the stuff you've done. He says, I think you'd be perfect for this role. Anthony Lero. Oh, Anthony. Yeah. What are you doing? How's everything, all right? How come you're not here? All right.
He actually will be. He actually will be. But go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, come on. We all have to.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt. We're going to have a good time. So, so he called me and he was like, listen, I just want you to do this thing real quick. And I did it and sent it to him. And he called me. He's like, you don't understand. I must have auditioned like 30 people for this role. I hated them all.
Wow.
And he says, I came across your reel. And he says, I thought it was great. And, we had a Zoom meeting just to go over some of the script real quick. And we filmed in Yardley, Pennsylvania. And we all met there. And it was just like we all just clicked. But we did spend a lot of, we were together 14 hours a day in this house that they rented. Yeah. So it was just a phenomenal time. And the nice thing was, again, he let us improv.
Yeah.
Really and it really just turned out to be, sometimes things click and everything just clicked in that film. It really did. And it was one of the best experiences I've ever had by far, being on a movie set. The casting was phenomenal. I mean, you couldn't, and we laughed. I mean, all we did was laugh.
Right? We made ourselves laugh because we were just that's how good it was.
Yeah, and then
that's how much you all
we really, and it was amazing. The house was absolutely gorgeous. Very, very old house. Pretty sure it was haunted because I heard lots of footsteps and all kinds of weird stuff there. And everybody did. 17,
or
something like that. Yeah. Something crazy like that. And then they had a little extension. It was a phenomenal house. Big cornfield in the back, which was unbelievable.
Which you're going to see.
Which you will see, right? And Anthony, that was my idea.
That was your idea?
It was my idea
you want
because.
The credit for that, huh?
Well, you know what it was? It was the anniversary of Field of Dreams, and we were sitting in the backyard. I'm like, dude, we have a cornfield here. Why don't we do something with the cornfield? Like we come out of the things.
Yeah, like
no.
Like Children of the Corn.
Yeah, that's right, Anthony. When I see you next time, I'm going to backhand you. But no, I mean, it worked out great. I mean, the crew was phenomenal. We all just got along great. You know what I mean? And. So he's shopping it to the festivals right now, as you know. Yep. And, rumor has it there could possibly be, maybe a little pilot coming out of this for television.
Maybe a little pilot.
There might be a pilot.
Well, let's see.
There's some discussion about this. I'm not going to say, but yes, so it was, everybody was just cast perfectly. They were.
Here's the funny thing. He called me out of the blue. Right. And I didn't know nothing about it. He just called me up, and then, he was talking to me, and I met with him on Zoom as well. And he's like, "I love you. I want you on here." And I was like, "Okay, send me the information." And and at first I wasn't really too sure about it, and then I read into it a little bit. I was like, you know what? I really like this. I'm going to try it. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to submit and do it. So he found me, which was really great. So thank you, Anthony.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you.
Yeah,
wherever you are.
Great guy.
And
great kid. He's actually in LA right now, and he's working on some things. Yeah, he texted. Oh, okay. You did talk. So and he's also we're going to be working on a new project in June. So stay tuned for that.
Maybe a little action movie? Is
action,
that?
Yeah,
I think
action.
it's going to be an action movie.
I can use my martial arts.
But going back to the Ruggieros, it was just a fantastic time, and everybody got along really well. And you want to hear a funny story? So we all kind of clicked, and I forgot where we were. We were somewhere, and we were going back and forth, me and my movie wife, and somebody turns around and says, "How long have you guys been married?" And I was like, "Oh my God, are you kidding?" I said, "Is it that bad?" But yeah, so
we get along that good.
Yeah, well, we did. We just happened to click, and we did a lot of improv, which is not easy to do with people you don't know.
Sure, you guys did nail it.
Yeah, we did. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I really very proud of that project. I think it was. Hopefully good things come out of it, and I think it will. We just got to keep working at it.
Well, good things already came out.
Right, good things already did. Yeah, right. We got new friendships. Right, exactly. Yeah, it worked out really well. There's other projects coming down the pike, so it actually turned out to be a beautiful thing, and it was just a really great area. You know what I mean? It was a really nice place to be. Very calm. I love Pennsylvania, man. This state is just I must have lived here in a previous life, I'm convinced, because I feel very comfortable here.
Now, do we have a release date for the Ruggierios yet?
No, we don't.
Yeah, right?
No,
Because
he's
it's in
still
film
he's still doing the festival
Yeah,
thing.
I believe
so
he entered 10 film festivals.
10, yes.
Yeah,
So we'll see where that goes. You know what I
Right.
mean? And then, you know, I would like to see it eventually get onto Amazon.
Yeah,
It would be great if it was on Amazon Prime.
Sure.
You know what I
Or
mean?
Netflix or something.
Netflix. Yeah, I mean, we'll see where it goes, but I think it's going to be fine. I'm not really too worried about it.
Right.
You know, I have faith. I do. And when you look at the work, it was just, it wasn't even work.
No.
You know what I mean?
Too much fun.
I mean, we laughed. You'll have to see the trailer,
Yeah.
which I'm sure you will.
We're gonna say, yeah, we will.
They'll show the
we
trailer.
Will be showing,
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
But-
and even my wife, you know, she was great, and
Right.
I just met her there at the.
Yeah,
at the
right.
very
I mean,
first
she
scene, you
came
know.
out with some great lines. I
So
mean,
she hit it.
everybody played off each other really, really well. And I'll tell you one funny thing. So this is before you were here. I'm shooting a scene in a car, and I'm supposed to get in the car and drive away. And I'm in this townhouse complex, and there's this wacky woman who decides she comes down the steps and gets in the car with me while we're filming. Now she's not part of the movie.
Wow.
She just got in the car, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And she like smiled and had no teeth, and I'm like, "Okay, it's a zombie movie." I realized. No, it was she who literally got in the car. And we were like, cut. And they're like, they had to go and haul her out of the thing. And then she starts coming down the steps again. And I'm like, guys, we got to get out of here. You know,
That's not the same lady. That's not the same one that was in the show, is it?
No, she wasn't in the movie at all.
Oh, okay.
She was just like some weird.
So where did this woman? Where'd they
was
get
in
the
the
woman?
parking lot.
Where'd they get the woman that was yelling at you when you were at the when you went up to see? I guess it was your.
Oh, that's actually Anthony's grandmother.
That's Anthony's grandmother.
Yeah, that was yelling.
Okay.
Yeah, and we
the
actually
guy,
shot.
the guy on the porch. He was.
That was his grandfather, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken. Yeah, it was all related.
So,
And then the guy in the chair was there's a guy in a chair who's supposed to play my uncle, and it's a whole thing. You'll have to see it.
Yeah, the crazy
but it was
he's off the
yeah,
wall,
that was inside his grandmother's house.
Okay.
That in that complex, they lived in this townhouse,
Okay,
and
okay.
it was and that day it was like 110 degrees,
Wow.
and it's supposed to be wintertime, and they had me in this I'm in this sweater, and I'm dying. I mean, it was brutal, absolutely brutal. But you know. That's the way it usually works when you film these things.
Yeah, I love those.
You know, they film the winter scenes in the summer and the summer scenes in the winter.
For some reason, right?
Right, I don't know why, but that's
But guess what? Creed 2 was the same way. We're sitting there doing a Russian scene, you know, in Philadelphia,
Right.
you know, and it's hot.
Right.
You know, and they got snow on the windows, and you were sweating.
Yeah, when I
So
did
love it.
Many Saints in Newark, it was the summertime, and I had like this wool jacket on and a hat and hold on, and I'm dying. And they had fake snow in the street. They shut down the entire street. You know, they have all these old cars and everything. It was a good time. Really, really. And actually, they shot the scene I was in with James Gandolfini's son, who was the nicest guy I've ever met. Real nice kid, very respectful. We spent the whole day together. Really, just a sweet kid. And we shot the scene that I was in inside the restaurant at the end of The Sopranos, where they're at the diner.
Okay.
That's the scene we shot in.
Nice.
Yeah, it was
Wow,
amazing.
that's awesome.
And this place was like right out of the 70s. It was incredible. Like homemade chocolates. I mean, they really just, it was really, really cool. That was out in Jersey. I forgot.
Well, we're going to have to end the show. So thank you all so much for watching the show tonight. I really appreciate it. With our special guest, Joseph David Sirico. Great guy, great comedian. And I loved working with him on the project that we worked on together. So again, thanks for subscribing. And make sure you share it with your friends. And we'll see you again next week. And never, ever miss an episode.